static. We've actually reduced it 15% roughly over the last 6 years, even though we've issued another $175 point something million in debt during that time. But we're able to do it because maybe we're refinancing debt when the interest rates go down based, from where we first took out the debt. We're growing, we're paying debt off earlier. But we are constantly keeping that static because as we pay off debt, we are going to issue bonds and take on new projects. Why? Because we're a fast-growing city. I don't know what the real number is, but I'm gonna tell you it's over $1 billion of capital improvement projects that I'm sure if I went to Gary Graham and our city staff and I said, give me your dream list of projects that if we had the money to do right now, it'd be $1 billion, it'd be $2 billion, I don't know what it'd be huge. Imagine, right, all the roads, Log Howell, Wilmouth, Bloomdale, 6 lanes, parkways, but we have projects from now until the end of our growth, whatever that might be. So we will always, if this bond doesn't pass, people say, well, if you don't pass the bond, they'll reduce the tax rate. We won't. Why not? Because we have other capital improvement projects. Well, why do this one first? Why prioritize this? Well, because as I said, like Virginia, there's not $1 billion a year annual economic impact. There's no revenue stream. So if we can take a project, a capital improvement project like an airport, a huge transportation project with a huge economic impact to the region, if we can do that now, what does that do for us as we look at projects, that other $1 billion or whatever that number is? And by the way, I'm making up $1 billion because in my head I'm trying to do the math on 6 lanes of Bloomdale, Wilmouth, Log Howell, and everything else. And I think I'm at $1.1 billion too right now. But whatever that number is, us doing a project that generates the kind of economic impact that this will, allows us to do those other projects faster, have more money for them. So it's important to understand that when people are latching onto this loss, well, unlike, again, if we view capital improvement projects that way, then I hate to tell everybody here, but we've lost all of it, right? There's no toll roads in McKinney. We don't get money back. So if you want to look at it that way, then let's apply that to every bond that we've ever done for every capital improvement project. And this is very much a CIP project. That was a long-winded answer, but it's important.
That's all right. This is the last question that's going to transition us over to our school board candidates coming up here in just a second. Is there a plan to partner with McKinney ISD for training to include or programs to help those kids from McKinney ISD maybe work for the airport, whether that's mechanic jobs or stewardess or pilots, anything like that? Is there a plan for that?
So, the short answer, yes. And since we're transitioning, I'm going to go back to full circle where I started, for those who may not have been here in the beginning. I started by saying how, as passionate as I am about the airport, there's nothing more important to me than the school board election. If I had to advocate for one, I wouldn't be talking to you about the airport as much as I believe that's in our best interest. I'd be talking to you, if I could only do one, it'd be about the school board. The other side wants to make this about pornography in libraries. There's no pornography. Let me retract that. If there is an inappropriate book in the library, our current board of trustees, our current superintendent, they don't want it in there anymore than you and I do. Now they have this thing called a process that they've asked to be challenged, because if you don't have a process, what happens? Someone has an issue maybe with this book on the sexual content. Maybe the next person has an issue with the book that references God, and they think every book, an atheist group might want every book that references God out, and then maybe the next group wants everything that references Hindu or
Guns.
What's that? Gun? I mean, whatever it is. The point is there has to be a process, right? So they are a single issue party. I mean, not party. Single issue hate slate, I'll call them. And they want to instill fear and tell you that if they get elected, we're going to fire the superintendent and we're going to get rid of the inappropriate books. Well, let me tell you, I am, by the way, against an inappropriate book, so I want it out as well. But if anyone in this city, in this country, in this world, thinks that our children's future, their success when they get out of school, is going to hinge on whether being the perks of a wallflower is in a high school library or not in a library, you got another thing coming. You want to know what sets our school district apart, what this school board, these candidates do, the innovative programs that they're working on with the junior college, the AP classes and programs that established and are continuing to further. The World One Technology Program, if I got the name right, and putting technology, iPads, K through 3, and laptops from 4 through 12. The training opportunities, the programs with airport, with our medical community. Chad Green and the band of idiots, I'm sorry to be so direct, they don't know, they don't have a clue as to what it takes, what goes into our school district.
Yeah.
Again, their bumper sticker is about a book. Again, if there's an inappropriate book, let's get it out. There's a process, let's do it, let's get it out. They changed the process recently to where you can challenge a book even just by the passage now for those that want to complain but said it was too onerous to read the book. They said now you can challenge by a passage. How many of them have they challenged now? 0. It's not about that. What it is about is people that care about our kids, care about their future, and know that our kids' future, where they go after school, is not about perks of the wallflower in a high school library, which, by the way, is required reading for a school that offers an AP class in the state of Texas, period. They'll leave that part out too. Why? Because they don't even know that. They don't know that. What they know is they can put fear in somebody and call that, pornography in the school without even have ever read the book. Not even to get into a discussion about whether it is or isn't appropriate. They don't know that it's a required AP reading. This group, Amy Danko, Lynn Sperry, Stephanie Odell, they have worked in that school district to make our school district one that prepares our kids for success. Dr. Rick McDaniel, superintendent, has prepared our school for success. Sean Pratt, current superintendent, been in our school district for 30 years. You want to put Chad Green and Sean Pratt in a room and challenge them to tell us what it takes for success? I mean, that would make a great comedy show.
I was thinking,
or I'd say it's a horror show. So I'm being really direct, and some people are going to rag on me for as the mayor. How can the mayor say these things? I'm going to tell you right now, Chad Green has committed perjury down in Austin, and the hate slave that's running is a one-trick pony. Doesn't know what the hell it takes to run the school district.
well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we see your picture all around McKinney supporting our school board candidates, so we appreciate your support.
Yeah.
And then let everybody know, thank you. Thank you. Another round for Chantal Canala as well. Thank you. We'll go ahead and get our school board candidates up here. You guys can be able to stick around for a little bit. If somebody has questions afterwards, they can reach out to you and talk with you in the back. Awesome. All right, so let's invite our school board candidates up. Give us just a couple minutes to get situated.
Now, are these all the school board candidates, or are
No,
these just the Dem?
It's just the great slate. They're not Democrats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just the
in
slate.
our fantasy world. But they are our better choice.
Right.
They're not. They're not fascists.
Okay, cool. Fine line. You'd think it'd be easy to.
All right. Well, next we're going to have the school board candidates portion of our program. And I would like to invite to the stage our moderator for this section of the program, Ms. Sheena King.
Go, Sheena!
And I'm sorry, I'm going to take a pause just briefly before I let you know what Sheena is and who she is and what she does, because I want to introduce Scott Coleman. He is running for the Collin College Board of Trustees. With another great slate of candidates, Scott Coleman, Stacey Donald, and Megan Wallace for the Collin College Board of Trustees. Back to Sheena. Sheena is a business leader, a community advocate. She was the 2022 Democratic nominee for state representative in House District 61, and current candidate for chair of the Collin County Democratic Party. She has resided in McKinney since 2007, and although her 3 children are now adults, she regularly attends MISD school board meetings and events. Sheena is a graduate of UNT and has earned several designations and licenses. Sheena believes everyone wants to do good, and what makes us stronger is our collective energy. Although uniquely different, we are each wonderfully made. So please welcome Sheena King.
Wow, this is wonderful. Thank you guys for coming out in the middle of the week. This is an important conversation. And I just want to thank again Mayor Fuller for allowing us to use his space, and also for all of the comments about the school. All right, so I will tell a little bit about what's going to happen, the format that we're going to go through today. So we will allow each of the candidates to introduce themselves and tell us why we should vote for them for school board. And then we have a few questions that have already been prepared that we will ask each candidate. Actually, we're going to ask one candidate, and allow them 1 minute and 30 seconds up to 2 minutes to answer. And then if any additional candidate wants to also answer, we'll allow another 30 seconds. So we have quite a few questions, and then we have some fun questions at the end. So we will go ahead and get started. And I'm going to start on this end. If you would please introduce yourself and tell us why we should vote for you for school board this week.
No.
Good evening. I'm Lynn Sperry, and I will tell you a little bit about myself. I've been on the McKinney School Board for 39 years. Now, before you think that I'm obsolete and I should go on my way, I haven't gone to sleep in any school board meeting today. There's always been some reason why I kept going that I just couldn't quite give it up. This time, I have a very serious reason for not giving it up. I've kind of found out that these people that are running against us aren't exactly the right kind of people and running for the correct reason. So, I do not want to give it up after 39 years. I don't want to give it over in an easy way to somebody who is not there for the best for kids. So, I've always supported teachers, and I've always supported children, and I can't think of any district that I'd rather be part of, and I don't want to see anything negative happen to it.
Hello. Sorry. Hi, I'm Amy Dankel. I have been on the board for 12 years. I was a teacher in public school only for 22 years. My undergraduate and graduate degree are both in education. The last 10 years I taught was here in McKinney, and when I did my exit interview, well, actually before my exit interview, one time we got this material came to the kindergarten classroom, and I'm like, what's going on with this? Who picked this out? And they would always say, it's the board, the board. So I offhandedly said, when I retire, I'm going to run for that board. And I was actually sitting in my Wednesday Bible study meeting, and they were not happy with the current board member. And they're like, hey, Amy, you said you were going to do this. And so I did run against an incumbent, and I will say, it's possible to run against an incumbent and not say anything negative. You don't have to make up lies. So I'm astounded that this is the tack that is happening right now. Why I'm running again is because I see the destruction of public school coming, and we simply cannot have that in a democracy. The tack that they're taking is to defund public education, because then clearly it will not last. But more so than just to defund public education, they want everyone to be scared of public education.
Yeah.
And that's just astounding to me. If you're going to come up with a group group of people and try to convince somebody to be scared of them. Really, it's our teachers. It just makes no sense to me. And I simply saw the misinformation and saw the attitudes of the people that were running, and there's just absolutely no way I can let this happen to our great community.
I'm Stephanie O'Dell, and I've served on the board for the last 8 years, and I've always been an involved, concerned parent. I was on PTAs, PTOs, and when my kids were in school, and it was a natural, really kind of evolution for me to get on the school board. And I've enjoyed it every minute of it. I love going to campuses and seeing what the teachers are doing and what kids are doing, and I am passionate about public education. I believe that all kids should have access to free public education. And I would love for our legislators in Austin to know that and to come visit our schools in McKinney and see how great they truly are.
Woo!
And I'm tired of the misinformation too, of course. And the other things I've been involved in, I'm on the Baylor Scott & White Hospital Board, I've been on the McKinney Education Foundation, I was president of that. We have a great community here in McKinney, we have great schools, and I want everyone to know that. So.
Yeah.
All right, we are ready for the questions. So McKinney area Democrats is pro-public education. We believe that your zip code should not determine the quality of your public education. We believe public schools should be fully funded. Teachers should be trusted to teach the curriculum, and parents should work in partnership with school districts through their support. The Texas legislature has listed parents' choice in education, or sometimes called school choice, as a priority for this legislative session. We all know this is code for school vouchers that will defund public education. Can you please explain your views on how school vouchers would affect McKinney ISD? This first question is for Dr. Dangle.
Thanks, I'm not a doctor. I did think about doing that, and then my husband was making fun of me. He said, "You're going to retire, and you just wanted to say that on the golf course." So, I canned that idea. All right. The thing with vouchers is nobody can just print money and make money. So when they give the money to someone else to spend in another place, it's gone to that, and it's not coming to public education.
Right.
What's so astounding is the group that's saying give away the money is also the group that's saying they want transparency and accountability. There is no transparency and accountability with vouchers. They seem to think that somebody's just going to get this check and run down to Hockaday and sign their little girl up. That's a falsehood. This is only going to help the very wealthiest people who can afford, one, transportation to get their kids to the private school, and two, to pay the rest of the money. And I have seen this in other states where they also pay parents to homeschool, to keep their kids at home. And then what happens is, they get either sick of doing it or they're just not that great at it. And then the kids end up back in public school and they're so far behind, we're playing a big catch-up game constantly. In addition, the way schools are funded, it's not how many kids are signed up for the school, it's how many show up. So it's also the daily rate, your attendance rate. And there's no way they're going to keep track of this at the private schools. It's just, frankly, something they've been trying to do since desegregation, and now for the first time in Texas, we have more children that are not white in public education, so they think they can get away with it. Sorry, I'm out of time.
So given the political climate and nature of school board meetings lately, they're pretty hot,
Yes.
feisty, I'll use Chantel's word, feisty. Can you explain the need for continuity on the board and how many years of experience allows you to focus on things that really matter to MISD while blocking out the noise? And we'll start down on this end with Ms. Sperry.
Well, one of the things that this group is causing is a huge amount of open meetings type questions to the administration, and it's almost an entire person's job all day long to go answer and dig out the questions that they're asking. And it's really difficult to feel like it's a good way to spend your money, first of all. And secondly, it's taking time away from whatever that person normally would be doing. As far as our meetings are concerned, if you haven't watched any of them online or visited our meetings, you have no idea what we've been going through. This is another thing that's pet peeve of mine, is the fact that the legislature, in their infinite wisdom, decided that we should have to have at least 30 minutes each meeting. Even, now we're having a team of 8 meeting tomorrow, and I saw on the agenda for that one, we even have to have a spot on that agenda for somebody to come in and address us with whatever they want to. And so we've had every meeting at least 30 minutes of this. Sometimes it's 30 people, so they all get 1 minute. Of course, they're not pleased about having just 1 minute, but they talk about all kinds of things about these books, and they're trying to make an issue of these books, and it's just ridiculous. The other thing about this 30-minute period is that the people do not have to live in McKinney if they want to come and address us. They can live in Timbuktu and come over and talk to us, and that's ridiculous if they don't have any reason to have a business in town or pay taxes here. So I would also like to see us let the legislature know that that is a ridiculous part of this whole requirement, because if the people don't have to be citizens of our McKinney community to speak to us.
I was just going to add that most of the public comment people, the negative, the hate slate, they were very distracting, and it goes all the way down to the campus level. They ask for the open records request, ask for things about campus. Principals have to do research on. This is a waste of time that is distracting from our students being educated. And there is nothing that these people are doing that is focusing on children's education. It's all a big distraction. Especially what Mr. Green's done the last few weeks is distracting for our teachers and our administrators, and it's ridiculous.
Thank you for that.
Okay, can I?
Yes, please.
What we've tried to do during the meetings is switch the public comment section, so we have that first, or right here at the beginning of the meeting, because most of the people that, like Lynn was saying, are just traveling around from school board meeting to school board meeting. They don't really care about the business we're trying to conduct to educate about 24,000 kids. So we have moved that to the beginning so that most of them do leave, which is a little bit of a help.
So McKinney area Democrats believe every person should be able to live in a life free of gun violence, especially our children while they are attending school. Today is another tragic day.
Yeah.
Could you please share what concerns you still see the need to address to ensure safety of all MISD students? We'll start with Ms. Dayton. Yes.
For our security procedures that we currently have, we have 17 SRO officers, school resource officers, and they police many of the campuses. And so they have certain campuses they're assigned to, and if there's a campus that doesn't have a school resource officer, they can get there within a certain amount of minutes. I'm not allowed to say what that time is because it's a safety issue. So we are constantly working on the plans and procedures to make sure everything is safe. We're constantly checking doors. People on the inside and the outside are constantly checking doors. And something that we need to work on in the future, and we've actually kind of started, is gun safety at home. People need to lock their guns up to know what they're doing. And the kids are aware that there's a tip line. The kids are really good friends with our police officers on campus, and they will tell them if they see something or think something. And the kids talk, and they, so the kids are the best, really, safety people on campus. And the kids know now not to open doors. So the kids are very aware, and they're very responsible, and they want to keep themselves safe and teachers safe. But it's a community partnership. It's between the parents and the kids and the teachers. It involves everyone. And our city is very helpful in this also.
I would just add that it's an ongoing process. We can't stop, because by the time we stop, something else happens. So it's a constant thing, trying to keep ahead of the game and try to make sure that we're keeping the students as safe as possible. And to say that we're not doing everything we can, we're trying to do everything. We've even had people come in from the outside to do what's called an audit of the situation to help us. You know, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees when you're part of the group inside. You may not realize something that's obvious to someone coming in and just observing. So I think that on top of everything else, and we have a fabulous plan that they have made for safety. If there is something that happens, taking the students to the stadium and getting a safe way to have the parents come and reclaim them, a major thing.
Safety and security obviously is our top priority, followed by academic excellence. We do have a lot of things in place that we cannot share with the public, but our SRO officers are absolutely wonderful. They're building relationships with the students, and I think that makes things a lot better as the kids get older. I would like to just mention that my opponent is suing 3 of our SRO officers. So she's on a big safety kick now online, and I've asked her why. Why is a good question.
Thank you. Well, as you say, easy. Yeah. So you mentioned your opponents.
Yes.
So all 3 of your opponents have consistently spoken during those public comments at the school board meetings to make false claims about CRT, as the mayor mentioned, about pouring in schools, and they've attacked you personally. So we actually have been calling all 3 of those the hate slate. Please explain how these people detract from important school district business that needs to be conducted during school board meetings, because there's other topics that should be covered during school board meetings.
Well, once we get over them screaming around about virtually nothing, then we can actually get to the business at hand. We've tried to explain, for example, with the books. My opponent read a little sentence out of the book and then just screamed out disgusting and went storming out. And when I reached out to her and I said, you know, that book is in the AP curriculum. The advanced placement curriculum is set by the college board. If you've ever sent a kid to college, I'm telling you, you want them to take the AP classes, because then they can take the test and they don't have to take that class in college, and it saves a lot of money. That is, I believe, about 99% of the books, but that makes no difference to them, because right now they're on the big kick about then you're putting them in the teacher's classroom library. So we do spend a lot of time kind of standing between them and our staff, so that our staff can actually do their job to educate our children.
Thank you.
So I'm glad you mentioned teacher retention. It's a very big topic. It's an ongoing issue here in Texas as well as around the country. But many districts have been dealing with this, right? So how have you all engaged classroom teachers in discussions on solutions to address the issues that have been discussed today? And we'll start with it.
Yeah, I'll start.
Yeah.
So McKinney ISD has one of the highest teacher retention rates in Collin County. So we're doing a good job. Our HR department is always cheering their praises and encouraging our teachers and our paraprofessionals and all the staff. And they're always trying to recruit more teachers, of course. We have a lot of teachers who graduated from our high schools. And for some reason, we don't track that number, but that is a huge compliment. These kids have graduated from North Boyd and McKinney High, and they come back here, and they're happy to be here, because this is a great place. So we need to continue to recruit teachers. I know we're looking at different ways. We go to lots of colleges and recruit teachers. Our HR department does a great job. We're looking at possibly, the new superintendent is looking at possibly getting veterans to be able to teach. And I know we also need subs, if anybody wants to sub. And encouraging. I mean, we are here and we support the teachers, and we want the teachers to know that. We support what they're doing. We know they're doing a good job. We just had the Teacher of the Year banquet, And that's a wonderful thing. We think there's one teacher of the year for each campus, and then there's one elementary teacher of the year for the overall year of the district, and one for secondary. And those teachers are amazing. And all of the teachers are amazing, and they all care about kids. So, I mean, we need the public to sing the praises of the teachers because they're doing an amazing job.
One of the things that the teachers particularly enjoy and appreciate, I think, is at Christmas time, we give them a $100 stipend that is just a check, an extra check to kind of help them through Christmas time. And we can use that also as a recruiting technique too. We try to recruit teachers that are the best. We try to go to the various colleges and entice the people who are coming out of the colleges currently, and we try to have staff that kind of looks like our student body. In other words, we're not all white, we're not all black. We try to make sure that we have a mixture.
I'd say safety and the culture are every bit, if not more important to the teachers than their pay. I mean, obviously, we'd love to pay our teachers like we pay our professional athletes in this country.
Yes.
If they feel safe, if we're empowering them to do the job that they're so passionate about, and I'd like to say one of the teachers of the year was in my kindergarten class at Edmonds, so and the teacher of the year that won, I think the secondary, graduated from McKinney School District. The elementary graduated from Norm.
That's outstanding. So you mentioned our new superintendent. So Trustee Sperry, I believe you might have the longest tenure out of those on the board. So can you maybe share with the rest of us, what was the consideration, what was the criteria for selecting our current superintendent, Sean Pratt?
Well, first of all, I'd say we were blessed because we had 26 applicants, which I think is a good number. We narrowed it down to 7, and we interviewed all 7 of those very seriously. And you have to be really careful when you're interviewing somebody from inside, because our hate slate was saying we had already, made that determination before we even did the interview, so that was out there. But one of the things that I think is a blessing, and I'll tell you one of the things that I was concerned about. One of the things that's a real blessing, I think, at this time is the fact that he's been here 30 years. He knows the community loves him. The staff loves him. He got at least 3 standing ovations during the meeting where we introduced him to the public. And the best part is, he's not going to have this period of time that he has to take to figure out who to believe, what this district's about, who's important, who's pulling his leg, who's lying, and all that stuff. So I think that is a huge help for him right now. I am an academics person and an arts person, and here we have somebody that spent 30 years basically as a sports person, coach. And my question was that, okay, I know he's good at what he's done, and I know all these other good things about him, but I wanted to know if I felt comfortable with his approach to academics, and did he appreciate the arts, and also did he understand Serenity High, and because that's important to me. So I asked some of those questions, and he came to us prepared with sheets, about 4 or 5 sheets of things that he had actually thought about and written down his thoughts and his ideas, and so I felt very comfortable once we did it.
He has great leadership skills, and one thing that I really like that Lynn said was he can hit the ground running. He has already made some changes in the cabinet positions and had very clear reasons why he felt that needed to be done. And I think the little areas here and there where we need a little surge academically, he has already taken care of those areas.
He will definitely expound and do great things from what Dr. McDaniel has done. Dr. McDaniel has done great things, great partnership with the city, which is wonderful. And Sean has seen that and learned from that. Excuse me. And he will you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, Dr. McKinney 2.0. So I can see that Sean Pratt has learned from him and is going to expound and even do better and bigger things.
Love that. So McKinney area Democrats believe all students should be able to attend school free from bullying or discrimination. In what specific ways does MISD foster an environment of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and what should we do better? And we'll start with Steve.
Okay, good, because I brought show off for this. I was a kindergarten teacher. I was so irritated at Mr. Green when one of the 3 things he posted down in, when he was down in Austin was an out-and-out lie about our, of course you can take as a teacher, making schools safe and inclusive for LGBTQ plus students. And he just said one lie after another about this course. We have to do training, so I took the course. It's exactly what teachers are doing and need to do. All it is saying is every child that walks through the door of McKinney ISD is important, and not only do we want them to be safe, we want them to be welcomed. You cannot thrive if you're fearful. Now granted, I'll be real honest with you, I did not make 100 on the test, but there's nothing on there like what he is saying. So he's just trying to get a group all scared over absolutely nothing. And this is the type of training our teachers have. Our teachers want every child to be valued and to feel safe and to get a great education. And hopefully we can not deal with any more board members who have to just make up lies to scare people.
Thank you. I know misinformation is a big topic, so as a follow-up to that, if you want to answer, that's fine. Just where could parents go if they feel that their concerns for their student safety is not addressed?
If the parents feel like their student safety is not addressed, of course, they need to start with their principal on their campus, because that's where something's happening. And they need to have a conversation with their principal and the teacher. So, because that's where it's happening. And I know the teachers that I've talked to is like, I treat every student in my classroom the same, you know, because they're trying to teach all these kids. I'm sure as a kindergarten teacher, you're just trying to get them in line and, you know, not kill themselves. But, so, and it's, you know, high schools have a little bit larger classes. They're just trying to teach, you know, the English, the history, the facts. They treat them all the same. And the people that are best about treating each other with kindness and the same are the students. Students are very inclusive, and we can all learn from our students, from elementary to high school.
I want to go back to address one of the things that Amy was saying about Mr. Green. It's quite possible that he went down there and made such a fool of himself because he didn't do that training. He hasn't done any training since he's been for 2 entire years. And tomorrow, the next meeting, Amy has to read out, because of the state rule, how many hours each of us has accumulated over this last 12 months. And he's going to have a big fat 0, I guess, again, right?
I think he might have taken some stuff that he hasn't done.
I thought he had taken it.
All right, so we have some audience questions here, and then we'll close out with our rapid fire and closing comments from our panel here. So, what do you think would make an ideal school board member, and why? Anyone can take that question.
Lynn knows.
I was going to say honesty for one thing, and someone who cares for children, and someone who has a background in education. There's not one of these people that's running that has any background in education. If we handed them the whole district on a platter, and once they took all the books out of the library, they wouldn't know what to do next. And they're talking about the fact that we are, in their estimation, a B district. I'd like to see how they're going to make it any better than what it is right now. In fact, it's going to go the other way. So that just really irritates me. And I saw a big sign out there today, my first time to see it on Highway 5. We So it'll be good to see that, but,
I think someone mentioned that about the B district. So what was the weird thing that made McKinney ISD get a B rating last year when we should have gotten an A?
Okay, now this is gonna be a little prelim to my answers with Amy on Wednesday. But if you look at our 3 scores, this is just basic math. The 3 scores that the state uses, McKinney ISD students and teachers earned a 90, a 93, and a 95. Now, I don't care how bad you are at math. If you average 3 numbers, how do you get a number lower than the lowest number?
Right.
Well, this is all you have to do. Mix in some politicians who want to defund public education. So they look at what they call subgroups. And they say, well, this subgroup had this, pattern, this subgroup. So no matter what, the whole average is, the highest you can get is an 89B. And in some of our schools, we have subgroups of 1. We met with an academic specialist. The subgroups are how much money your parents make. There's a subgroup for all different races. And what's the third one? What language you speak at home. Yeah, that's how much money your parents make. So this academic specialist said, in my campus in 3rd grade, we have 1 child in the subgroup. They did their personal best, but that 1 child did not pass that STAR test. So now the whole 3rd grade, the whole school can't get the average. And then they roll that all into what they report. So they take the A we really earned, switch it to a B, because how can you defund schools if they're A's? What would these people say next?
And all of our high schools are A ratings, which says a lot. That means they're college, career, military ready. They did well in the STAR, and they did well in the course exams. You want them to have A's in high school, and all 3 of our high schools have A ratings.
And I want to add a little something else, because this is something that just aggravates me to no end. As a teacher and a mom, any testing we do to kids, for kids, with kids, until they're ready to leave us in, say, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, should be for one reason only, to let the teacher know, the student know, and the parent know what still needs to be learned. I mean, that's the whole reason.
So we have one last audience question, and we have just some rapid fire true or false questions. So this question is for Ms. Staples. Will the board reconsider the decision to base book banning only on excerpts and not the full context of the book?
We have considered putting that on the agenda again, to be honest with you. At this point, we've got one board member that really wants it on, and then a second board member that wants to kind of see how it goes. We honestly thought as soon as we passed that, we would have book challenge after book challenge, but these people are too lazy to even do that. They haven't even had any more challenges since that, so.
Okay, so rapid fire, we're just gonna say true or false, so that's the only thing we can say. Okay, question. The MISD Board of Trustees, which I just wanna make sure I reemphasize that. I've been seeing miss. These are trustees, so they're put in a position of trust. I just wanna make sure that we are clear on that as far as board members. So, the MISD Board of Trustees decides what curriculum is taught in school. True or false?
False.
It is the responsibility of the MISD Board of Trustees to create an environment of inclusion for all MISD students. True or false?
True.
MISD teaches CRT.
no, false.
MISD has books that have porn.
False.
Inquiring minds want to know. All right. MISD has books in high school libraries or classrooms that deal with real life struggles many teens face. True.
Yes.
MISD forces students to read inappropriate books.
False.
MISD believes parents have the right to monitor including books, cell phones, websites, magazines, YouTube videos, social media, etc. True. Last question. This is a tough one. MISD would be most successful if voters elect Dankel, Sperry, and Adele for MISD school board starting. Is when early voting starts. So please make sure that you are registered to vote. It's already too late if you aren't, but encourage all those friends out there who may not be ready to vote and have a vote plan. Please also visit the tables at the back for information, including the public schools first table back there. We need volunteers to help make sure we get this slate of candidates elected. One more round of applause.
This afternoon with a friend who lives in the, I guess you'd say, mid-cities area, where they've had a couple of these people on their school board for about 9 months or so, and you don't want to know all the bad things that are happening over there. It's only going to take about 9 months if we don't get these, not that we're the only ones that can do this, but the people with the right reasons for being on this board. It is imperative that you talk to your friends and your neighbors. You've heard what's going on here. And it will take us forever to get this back because these are 4-year terms. So Chad Green's only had 2. We've got 2 more of them unless somebody can figure out how to get rid of him. I'm serious, it's a felony. So please don't allow any more of these people to get on our board because it is a disaster when that happens.
I just want to say thank you again to Sheena King for being our moderator tonight. I'd also like our McKinney Democrat board members, if you all could wave. I want to thank all of you for helping tonight. Thank you. And if you're interested in joining the McKinney Area Democratic Club, we've got a QR code back there for you to scan. We've got t-shirts galore back there, so please visit our tables. Thank you, Mayor Fuller, again for this evening. You all have a great day.